LiberalViewer presents.
So when Attorney General Eric Holder announced this week that the Obama administration had successfully obtained a guilty plea and cooperation in rounding up co-conspirators from Najibullah Zazi, an Qaeda operative in the United States, Fox News was quick to spin that success into a controversy, as you can see from the reporting on the supposed straight news program America Live, hosted by Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly, who began that spin here.
Well, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder taking a victory lap yesterday after the suspect in the New York City terror plot pleaded guilty. But now Mr. Holder is using that guilty plea to defend his decision to try other terror suspects, like ones being held at Gitmo, in civilian courts.
And now, switching the focus of the story to Eric Holder's decision to respect the constitutional rights of detainees at Gitmo is already somewhat biased, but Fox News never even played a clip of Eric Holder making his own argument, instead playing the clip of Eric Holder talking about Najibullah Zazi, but saying nothing about Gitmo detainees that you can see here.
In this case, the combined efforts of the law enforcement and intelligence communities disrupted a major plot, and there is no doubt that American lives were saved. This investigation is ongoing, and we will continue to work around the clock, both to bring others involved to justice and to obtain intelligence that we can use to disrupt further plots.
And to see if Megyn Kelly does justice to the actual argument of the Obama Justice Department, see how she makes up for that video miscue here.
Well, that wasn't the right soundbite. There was more, much more. The Attorney General went on and on about how he believes that this justifies the general approach by the Department of Justice to the war on terror.
So even though Eric Holder supposedly went on and on about it according to the supposed straight news anchor, Fox News was somehow unable to show a clip of Eric Holder making his own argument, and even worse, the former pollster for Bill Clinton that Fox News found to uphold the Democratic side of the argument, Bernard Whitman, contributed the spirited defense of Obama administration policy you can see here.
In response to Eric Holder's claim, this from Lamar Smith, a Republican out of Texas, he says, comparing the prosecution of Zazi, a legal permanent resident of the United States, to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was engaged in an act of war against the U.S. by plotting the mass murder of Americans on 9/11, is misleading at best, he says. Fair point?
Megyn, I would actually absolutely have to agree with him. I have never supported trying Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in civilian court, certainly not in New York City.
Now, I find it hard to believe that Fox News couldn't find anyone to put on the air who actually supports a criminal trial for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, even in New York City, because, after all, the crimes of which he's accused include planning terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center in New York City, and terrorism is a federal crime, and the Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution does actually say, quote, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, unquote. And given that the right to a jury trial is such a traditional American value, I suppose Fox News might have found a real conservative willing to defend the constitutional position, but it wasn't the Republican on this Fox News panel, Jennifer Millerwise Dyck, because the contribution to this Fox News three-way from Ms. Dyck added no balance on the issue, as you can see in this clip.
Why can't we try KSM in a civilian court?
That is exactly the platform that KSM has actually been begging for. I mean, if you look at the interrogation process that he went through the CIA, this is one of the things that he wanted, was to be able to have a platform so he could continue to talk about his kind of jihadism. I mean, that we would give him this platform on American taxpayers' dollars is just, I think, insane.
I guess Ms. Dyck is not a big fan of the right of the accused to testify in his own defense, but worse than just her one opinion, I think, was the narrowness of the range of opinions presented on a supposed straight news program on such an important issue, but I want to know what you think. Is it really a fair and balanced debate on Fox News for one side to argue Obama administration policy is wrong, while the other side argues the policy is insane? And to ask the basic constitutional question nobody ever asked on Fox News? Without fair public trials in front of impartial juries where the accused have rights to confront witnesses and testify in their own defense, how do we even know any of these people are guilty of the crimes of which they're accused?
YouTube, you decide.